So, have you heard that we're getting a free character named Lian? Well, there are a few things with that I need to tell you. 1, there is an event where you can reset your Animus for free, which means that all materials you spend into the Animus will come back 100% to you, except for, of course, modules and shells. That is not part of the Animus, so of course that will not be reset. But everything you spent on leveling the Animus and leveling their skills, all of that will go back to you. Sounds great. First thing, after the first one, they're not free anymore. They go up in scale for crystals. So you free-to-play players and low spenders, keep that in mind. You can only reset once for free. That being said, you might be tempted to either throw Lian in a corner when you get that golden SSR that you're hoping for to carry your team, or you might be considering, well, doesn't really matter anyway. However, it does. There's an event called Animus Fate. There are 2 parts to it, but the first part is all about Lian. And to get rewards like pulls, crystals, reconfig chips, shadow prints, anima imprints, investigation books, all that good stuff, your coins. To get all of that for free, you need to work with Lian. So, with that being considered, I'm going to go over some lumped together things that are going to basically tell you everything you're going to need to do to be able to get all of these rewards. And when I say lumped together, I mean that on the first page, you get her to level 10. But later on, there's a page that says you need to get her to level 45. Things like that. So, let's get into it. So yes, you need to get Lian to level 45, which is 5-star, which calls for 4 shadow prints, the yellow ones. And of course your investigation books, but you can get level as you play through the story with Lian. The next thing is you need to upgrade any of her skills to level 3. So just pick one you like and level them to level 3. You're going to need 2 golden lattice, which are hard to come by, 630 of the lower tier anima prints, and 90 of the purple tier anima prints. The next thing is you're going to need to equip 6 unique modules, which are purple modules. The next thing is you need to equip a max level unique shell, so a purple shell, that you will need to go through, farm, level up, and throw in Lian. Now you can recycle the shell later if you don't need it. It will help you as you progress, but I wouldn't recommend really leveling any other unique shells other than that. Just that one that you need. When you recycle them, you do not get back 1-to-1 what you spent, so please keep that in mind going forward. The next thing is you need to equip 6 modules that are level 9 or higher that activate the 12-point onslaught effect. Now the thing with this is that you need to remember, I do not recommend leveling up unique modules because they're lower tier and leveling up modules themselves is so expensive. And as you get into the late game, that coin is going to be harder to come by. And I'm talking about when you get to those higher levels, it can cost tens to 100,000s of coin. So keeping that in mind, I would recommend if you have to, you can do epic level modules. However, if you can actually manage to get up to the nightmare level where you can get outstanding modules, which is a fuchsia color, leveling those level 9 or higher is much better for you in terms of resource management than leveling those epic ones. However you do it, perfectly up to you. You can again recycle them when you're done, but again you don't get 1-to-1 what you spent in them. The next thing is you need to equip the shell with purple passive effects. When you get a shell, once you level it up to a certain level, you can unlock its passives. You can re-roll those with your config chips. Now, again, config chips is a resource that you're going to want to save. So, if you're kind of wanting to min-max here, listen to the next thing and maybe combine them together. Because the next thing you're going to need to do is equip a max level epic shell, which is your golden shell. So basically any shell that has a gold background, that one's epic. So when you pick that one out, you're more likely to get a purple passive, and that would be when I would roll for it, because it's not necessarily a bad thing to level up epic shells. I just wouldn't fully invest into them unless you really, really wanted to. And the next thing you're going to do just by playing is you need to reach player level 26. Now, the next sections involve deploying Lian in different situations. So this is why I said make sure to pay attention to this so you can knock this out as you're playing the game instead of having to go back later and wasting stamina because you're past that point. like me. So the first thing is you need to deploy Lian in a hollow observation point 10 times, also known as GP outposts. This is where you're going to get your anima imprints, specifically for the hollow element to level up those skills. The next thing is you need to deploy Lian in Fantasy Club or higher 10 times in your investigation. Now this is where you're getting your XP books. Each section in investigation is labeled in a different area. So once you see Fantasy Club, you're good to run it 10 times with Lian. You can run it pretty early, so it doesn't seem like a waste. However, you can farm the later ones with Lian, and it still counts, as long as it's just Fantasy Club or higher. The next thing is you need to deploy Lian to defeat Hard Shadow Runner, which is one of your early bosses. Normal Apate, I hope I pronounced that right, because I'm about to say it again. Hard Apate, again, early bosses. These are for your modules. Hard Kuru, which is a shell boss. Hard Phoebian, another shell boss. And Nightmare Phoebian, one time. So when you're clearing this for the first time, it might be a good idea to just slap Lian into your team, especially considering your module runs actually call for 5 instead of 4. Should be easy to just squeeze another member in. And the next thing is you need to deploy Lian to defeat these enemies 10 times. Asterisks, I want to say here, these enemies are at different levels. I'm unaware as to whether you can just farm them at the last level and count for all these achievements. Honestly, it's better to grab it as you go, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. So, you have to defeat these enemies 10 times. Terramaton normal 3 or higher, Hard Terramaton 1 or higher, Hard Terramaton 3 or higher, Nightmare 1 Terramaton or higher, Nightmare 2 Terramaton or higher. These all say are higher, so theoretically you could farm Nightmare 2 10 times and knock them all out. However, I did not test that, so I'm unsure if that is how it's going to work across the board. So please keep that in mind when you're farming for these. And you'll also need to farm Hard Phoebian or higher 10 times, which means you can also farm Nightmare Phoebian. Now, what will you be getting out of all this? I gave you a brief overview, but I'm going to get into all the gritty details for you. So completing all of this, every last mission on part 1 of Animus Fate will give you 2 copies of Lian. That's important because if you really like Lian and are hoping for multiple copies, you cannot get her on standard. You cannot select her, you cannot select her on the selection banner. You can exchange for her in the selector shop, or the pull shop, the summon shop, excuse me, up to 2 copies. I'm unaware of when the shop refreshes if you'll be able to get another copy, because you need 5 copies of a character to max them out. You get 2 from this event, 2 from the summon shop, so I'm unsure of where we're going to get the last one, but that's all the information I have for now. Of course, this is beta, so subject to change. The next thing is you get 6 standard pulls that you can also use on your original Animus banner, so meaning non-light and dark banner. Then you get 840 Hydra Crystal, 450,000 coin, 19 gold investigation books, 5 purple investigation books, and 10 blue investigation books. Then you get 80,000 material to level up your shells, 4 reconfig chips, 20 bottom tier, blue tier Animus imprints for reason, 10 purple tier Animus imprints for reason, and 2 gold tier Animus imprints for reason. Then you also get 5 blue shadow prints, 3 purple shadow prints, and 1 gold shadow print. And don't worry, I don't expect you to remember all of this. I've included a link down below in the description of a Twitter post on my alternate Twitter where I post a bunch of game guides where you can find the PNG version of this guide that you can bookmark and save for later, and then you can refer to as you go through the game. Now you might be asking, if this is all in game, why do I need all this information? Well, as you're going through the missions, even though I have them completed, as you can see on the screen behind me, you can only see the page that you are currently on and the pages that you've done. So any new pages you can't see yet. So that's why I took the time and made sure I could get you as much information as possible so you could just take care of them as you go. Okay, everybody. I hope you find this information super helpful and I hope you enjoyed the video. So if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does mean a lot and helps the algorithm. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone!